Hello, it's Maria. I'm a reporter here with WDW Magazine, here to take you on another magical escape. I am coming to you today aboard the Disney Dream. I am currently on deck 14, which I've been on this ship before and honestly did not know this deck even existed until right now. I'm on the deck 14 overlook where I am at the bourbon tasting aboard the Dream. It is going to be a guided bourbon tasting that is led by some awesome cast members here. So this will probably be all the talking you hear from me for a while, but just to introduce the event, that is what I'm here to do. I've got awesome looking bourbons lined up in front of me as well as a bottle of water. Let's check out the view back here before we get started and we'll dive right in to the bourbon tasting. Here's a little look at the view. The sun is just setting here on the water. There's Currents Bar, and right below me down here is the adults area. So that is the view here on deck 14. This is night one of our sailing. A lot of folks are either at dinner right now or at the Golden Mickey's, and we are enjoying a very, very quiet bourbon tasting this evening. We signed up for this tasting before we set sail on the Disney Dream, and that is something I definitely recommend doing. Check your cruise activities online as far in advance as you possibly can, right when you book, I would even say, because a lot of these tastings and experiences like this, there are a lot that they offer, but they do definitely fill up and they do definitely sell out. So if you want to participate in a tasting on your sailing, make sure you book it before you even set sail if you possibly can. And if you can't secure that reservation before you set sail, as soon as you get on the ship on embarkation day, head to guest services and see if they can do anything to help you out.
How's everybody doing today? Good?
Great,
Yes.
yeah.
All right, so welcome on board. Welcome to this beautiful place. That's the Disney Dream. Bourbons are usually aged, a lot of the bourbons are aged in between 5 to 10 years. So that is the reason the bourbon barrels are like high demand, and people, different distilleries, they pay a high amount for getting the ex-bourbon barrels. So now we're gonna start to sip our bourbons. So everybody is ready to get the first notes of the bourbon. So you can go ahead and pick up the first glass which you have in front of you. If you want, you can rinse up your palate, and just after the old fashioned, so just have a sip of water, rinse up your palate, so you can get a proper notes and bites of your whiskey what you are tasting. Whenever you do a tasting, any kind of tasting, it is always recommended that you can always add 2 to 3 drops of water, which helps to open it up. So 2 to 3 drops of water always helps to open it up to get the extra notes and aromas over there. So it releases the flavors. And also, you always have to remember the 4 S's. What is going to be the 4 S's is the sight, the swell, the smell, and the sip. So these are the 4 S's. So the sight, what is the sight? You take a look into the glass, you check the color of your whiskey, how it looks like, and then you give a slight swirl to your glass. So when you give a slight swirl to the glass, stop and then keep looking into the glass. You're going to see the tears coming down. The tears, which is called as the legs. It is also, you can, what it shows, the body. It's a low body, medium body, or heavy body. So which is like the alcohol content. So if it is heavy body, which means high alcohol content, the tears comes down really so slowly. Everybody see the logo, the key. That's the second bourbon which you're going to taste. That's a Larceny. So Larceny,
It's lighter color too, the Larceny, than the Woodford, and it's definitely much smoother. It has much less of a bite. The Woodford was very heavy, very oak forward. I said it tasted like cork to me, but he corrected me and said that that is the wood oak barrel, the white oak barrel that bourbons have to be aged in, that we just learned today in order to be called a bourbon. That's what they have to be aged in order to call them a bourbon. So that's what I was tasting in the Woodford, but this Larceny really is a lot smoother and a lot sweeter. It's lighter color, and it didn't have as strong of legs as the Woodford, but it really was smoother. It really was sweet. If I had to have one straight, the Larceny, I'm really enjoying sipping on this one. It's very tasty so far and so informative so far. We learned where bourbon originated, where whiskey originated, how it became bourbon. Very, very cool so far. I'm enjoying it. We got 2 more here to taste, so let's see what's coming up next.
I have tasted this one.
Oh, that's a troublemaker right there.
That's a Jack Daniel's
Jack
Sinatra.
Daniel's.
It's a special edition. It's a limited edition. So anybody tasted this one before?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so this one is a special edition for Frank Sinatra. So Frank Sinatra, the very popular artist who used to drink Jack Daniel's throughout his life.
Yeah, the spin is optional.
Jack Daniel's Sinatra is very fragrant, and I took our bartender's advice. I added a couple drops of water to mine. He said it really opens up the flavor and allows the burn to kind of be reduced, and you can taste the flavor more. So let's see.
just on the right.
I grew up in East Tennessee. We were just in.
Ooh, that's got a bite to it on the front there, but that's a
That's
smooth finish. That's really nice. This one almost tastes like honey to me. The Jack Daniel's Sinatra. You're getting like a honey? Yeah, like a honey caramel too. Yeah, that's a good word too. Sweet honey caramel to this one. So this is not a regular Jack Daniel's, and like our bartender said, it's technically not a bourbon because it goes through an extra process. And I guess probably maple. We're probably tasting too because he did say that it is a maple charcoal barrel. So this is good. I don't know. Usually I wouldn't think that I would like the Jack Daniel's variety, but Jack Daniel's Frank Sinatra, they might be onto something here. This is very tasty. So we're all drinking the Blantons here, and the consensus is this is fantastic. Our bartender said it averages about $200 a bottle nowadays, and like everyone in the room is saying, I said there's no bite, there's no harshness to this at all, and the woman next to me said it's easy to drink this because it tastes like you're just drinking candy, which is true to an extent. It is very sweet as comparison to all the other ones that we've had here today. I'm getting no bite. The flavor is really fantastic and really smooth on this one. You can tell that the quality is for sure there on this one. All of them have been good, but this is definitely the smoothest so far. Wrapping up the bourbon tasting experience here aboard the Disney Dream on the Deck 14 Overlook. I honestly enjoyed each and every one of these bourbons that were poured. As you got to see, these are really informative beverage tasting seminars, and I can say that from experience because I have done a stem to stern wine tasting aboard Disney Cruise Line as well, and our host for that was equally as knowledgeable. We got just as much information about wine, how it's made, where it comes from, and what to look for when you're drinking it. So just to wrap up from me personally, everyone here in the room, which I thought was great, had a very different opinion on which one was their favorite and which one was not their favorite. My two favorites were the Larceny and the Blantons. I loved both of them because, in my opinion, they were the two smoothest in which to drink. I know we kind of went from harshest to smoothest, so technically the Larceny was second and the Blantons was fourth that we tried. But to me, the Larceny had a nice bite at the beginning of it. It was very light, so it was very smooth in that sense, and it had a great finish. And I really liked the Blantons. Like I said before, the Blantons had no bite to it at all. Very easy, perhaps dangerously, to drink that one. This one's the Blantons right here. And I think that this one was definitely my favorite. Then after I learned about the really cool, you can collect the 8 different horses that are on top of the bottle. The jockeys are all in different positions. And our bartender told us if you collect all 8 of them at $200 a bottle and send it back to Blanton's, they'll send you a display made up of those 8 different horses. So really great experience there with that. And I think the Blanton's comes out on top for me for sure. So thank you so much for joining me here today aboard the Disney Dream at the bourbon tasting. I sure had a great time. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you'll do a whiskey tasting, a bourbon tasting, a wine tasting, a mixology class if you take a cruise aboard DCL. Thank you again for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next magical escape.
Subscribe to WDW Magazine and escape to Walt Disney World every single month. This large format glossy magazine is filled with content, not ads. Subscribe now and don't miss another month of magic.